What's up, BJJ fans, and of course the BJJ stands for Blind Judo Journey. I went to the Tbilisi Grand Prix in Georgia a couple months ago. I would have uploaded this video a bit sooner, but once you've seen how I did, you'll maybe understand. I was just going to show you the fight. I had one fight, things you need to know for this. I fought this guy in Turkey a couple months beforehand. I beat him in about 50 seconds with a left-handed drop Sianagi. Let's take a look at the fight.
Ready? So on the mat now is the last contest in his weight category for now. It's between Danel Vs of Romania and Miles Solomon of Great Britain. It's Vs in white judo gi and Solomon in blue. I think it's a nice match-up between these two athletes. And I think the real test for them will come in the next contest between Petit. But let's see who will win this one. It will be okay if the athletes have, for example, right against left grip and have one hand on the sleeve and one on the lapel. In some cases they're bothering each other too much. And wow, that was a nice movement, nice reaction from Vs. But as I was saying, if they really are blocking each other out, the referee will point out first the one in the white judo gi to have their grip, and then the blue in the next action. So there is a system there, but you can tell that normally the athletes are quite fast, they're okay, and it got the judo a lot quicker than in the past. And the day is progressing quite quickly. You see great techniques, beautiful moves, and well, Nippon means in the direct finish of the contest, and that happened quite a lot here today. So each morning the competition starts at 10 a.m. and the final block is at 4 p.m. So we might see a break in the competition day. So Vrs still in the lead, but I think both athletes really have chances to win this contest. So it's another Sutimi attempt coming from Vrs, but it gives Solomon some time to work in Newaza and see how far he can get. I think he's doing a really good job here, getting close to a hold down, and he would need to hold down for 20 seconds. He's so close there, but let's see if the referee gives him time. And just not enough really for the hold down, but he was so close there. Good work from Solomon. So Vrs is trying to fight a more tactical contest now. He knows he has a Wazari lead over his opponent, and he just needs to hold on to that for a minute and 5 seconds now. Ooh, it's another nice movement coming from Solomon. Again, trying to work in Newaza. The only problem for him that if he succeeds, of course, it's great, but if he not succeeds, it takes so much time off the clock, and it's happening here. Left-sided Seonage from Solomon. He's trying everything to get a score on the board. So only 20 seconds. He's trying everything, but that left Seonage is just not placed very well. If Solomon can do anything to come back from being behind and losing out this contest, that's not gonna be it. So really nice action, just around half the contest time from Fragoski, scoring a Rosari score, and that being the only score, he takes a win.
So yeah, this is why I call it my worst performance. Now, I've had lots of people go, oh, you look like you're really trying, you're putting effort in, and hey, maybe I am, but I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't a good showing from me. Most of the reason I wasn't doing very good that day is off the mat reasons. I'm gonna discuss those in a bit. He got a Wazari for like countering my Uchimata attempt. It wasn't a good attack. It was a very weak Wazari, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, you know, I shouldn't have been scored against there, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, I didn't deserve to win the fight. I just wasn't on form that day. Why? Let's think about why. One, I'm gonna do these in order of like how sort of detrimental they were. So we'll start off with things that sort of weren't huge issues. In my opinion, you or my coaches might disagree with me or put these in different orders, but we'll start off with the sort of least relevant and move up to the most relevant. One, I was in quite a poor mental state psychologically, just coming up to this competition for a few reasons, mostly outside of judo reasons. The main ones being that I lost my job. You know, a week or that week before this, which was quite unfortunate and kind of left me in a bit of a, oh God, how am I going to pay rent kind of moment. So yeah, that was not a fun place to be, but to be honest, you know, you can get that sort of thing in your head, but it kind of messed around my training and made some of the things just a bit more stressed during the weight cut, etc., things like that, a bit harder. Most of the rest of these are going to be to do with the weight cut. I actually, whilst just before this competition, I was in the process of making a video called How I Make Weight for a Grand Prix. However, I don't think I did a very good job of making weight for this Grand Prix. It wasn't my best job ever. I didn't do an amazing job of it. So I felt it would be, you know, not a good idea, disingenuous for me to upload that as a video when I didn't think I did a very good job of it. So that's why that video didn't get made. Yeah, so second reason I think I didn't do very well, I started the weight cut quite early on, so the weigh-in was Friday night. I started dehydrating on Tuesday, which is similar to what I've done in other times, but I did sort of get a bit lower, a bit earlier. One of the weird things is that I actually went into this fitter and better nutrition and at a lower weight than all the other competitions, so sort of setting up for a really good weight cut, but I still applied the same methodology to it as I was when I was trying to cut slightly more. So I was cutting earlier, spending more time dehydrated, which just wasn't good. So that sort of led to next, I actually weighed in at about a kilo under 73, so I weighed in at 72 point something, but over that day I was about 71 point something earlier that day, and I actually was drinking water, taking fluid before weigh-in because I'd gone so far under the boundary, which doesn't sound like a bad thing, but for every, you know, however much liquid you lose under that 73 kilos, it sort of exponentially compounds, you feel the effects more, and it's just worse for you to spend more time being dehydrated. So I got to the hotel, I went for some sauna, I did some judo, it was all good, but then I woke up at like 74 kilos on the day of the weigh-in. I was pretty happy with that. We went and did a judo session. It was really hot in the room we were doing it in. And I was in a sauna suit. And normally then I would be expecting to lose about a kilo or just under a kilo in that session. But because I'd done my nutrition better, I started at a lower weight, I ended up being able to lose about 2 kilos. So I finished that session at just under 72 kilos, which is a huge drop and left me really drained. I think I pushed myself too hard in that session, and that's a mixture of what I was doing to test myself, how my coaches were pushing me. There's a lot of like being on the mat, there's other athletes who you might be fighting who are on the mat at the same time. You don't want to look weak, inverted commas, to them. You don't want to look like the weight cut's hurting you, but also it was hurting me. It was really hot, I was really tired. You know, I was just hands on my knees, my coach was like, stand up straight, stop putting your hands on your knees, stop doing it, you know, that kind of thing. I was really struggling with that. I was just really, really tired. And again, that will have been because I didn't end up eating enough on the day, didn't end up drinking enough beforehand, because I thought I had more to lose than I did. So yeah, not my best. Like I said, I spent 6 hours sort of at weight, 8-10 hours at weight nearly, which you probably haven't made weight before, you haven't tried to dehydrate yourself to get to your weight. But yeah, you say the hardest bit is when you sit in a sauna, which it is, but you're going to do that for 10-15 minutes. The bit that's really psychologically like just draining is when you're at weight and you've just got to sit there for 4 hours. Like often we're weigh-ins at 6 o'clock in the evening, and the rest of the gang will say, oh, we're going to go and go to the Aldi or whatever nearby, or go and grab some food, or just do something, usually go for a walk or whatever. And for me, like I just want to lie down. I'm just going to lie down and sit here for a few hours because I don't have much energy. And that's part of the rubbish bit about making weight. Now, the reason I put this before the other reasons is because, yeah, it wasn't my best weight cut, but I do think it wasn't awful. Like I wasn't struggling on the day of competition because of the weight cut. I felt like I was struggling more because of the next couple of reasons. One, I didn't rehydrate very well. I didn't rehydrate very well post weigh-in, for mainly my own mistake. To be fair, this is the thing I will say that was a thing I did wrong the most. Like I would take like accountability for. That's the most thing that's my fault is I'm just someone who likes drinking diet sodas, Pepsi Max, Diet Coke, things like that. It's a thing I normally drink, and I eat food. Nothing wrong with that. However, I love tea, I love things like this as well. However, what that ended up doing to me, I hadn't considered. There's a lot of diuretics, a lot of caffeine in diet sodas, which really is bad for you when you're trying to rehydrate. Diuretics will make you lose water. Realistically, I should be gaining water. So I should have been drinking things like water with electrolytes in it, orange juice, apple juice, these sorts of things, like to gain water into me with salts. And I didn't do that. I drank a couple Jump Pepsi, maybe a bit more than I'd care to admit to on YouTube, of diet soda, which ended up meaning that I didn't take on as much fluids as I should have. So when I woke up on the day of competition, normally I would want to wake up at sort of 76 kilos, maybe about that-ish. Again, the numbers don't really matter, this is just for reference. I ended up waking up about 0.8, 0.9 of a kilo less than where I wanted to be, indicating that I hadn't taken on the fluids that I really should have overnight, hadn't done a very good job of that rehydration process. So that was the bit I think that I felt was my sort of worst, the thing I did the most wrong. Especially after the fight, you don't get to see this, but I walk up and I couldn't speak. I was so dry mouth. I was trying to speak to my coach, wasn't able to do it. I was just needed to get some water, and I was so dehydrated. And that did obviously come from the dehydration process of a weight cut, and then the poor rehydration again afterwards. So yeah, The final thing that really affected me in this, that I think is the most impactful, is I was just really tired. Like I was so tired. Like I don't mean tired from training, I mean I didn't get enough sleep. And I will say the main reason for this is because we traveled through the night. Our flight was at midnight. We had like a 6-hour flight to Turkey, and then we had like 4, 5, 6 hours there, and then we'd had like 6, however many hours, I don't know, a travel to Georgia, and it just meant that I was not able to get sleep on the planes at all. I got a little bit of sleep in the Istanbul airport, like a couple of hours, but like I basically missed a night of sleep, and that really hurt me. I was then really struggling to just get a good night's sleep. The next night I ended up getting sleep. It was really hot in the rooms. I was obviously losing weight, struggling to sleep in that atmosphere. And then again, the same the night after, I ended up just not having the time to readjust myself to the fact I'd missed a night of sleep. So normally on the day of competition, I would be super ready. I'll walk in, I usually put headphones in, I listen to some drum and bass or something like that, and I got myself hyped and I get really, really ready. And my coach said to me on the morning of the comp, he said, "Mark, how do you feel?" You know, maybe an hour and a half before the comp, 2 hours before the comp or something like that. And when we arrived, and I just said to him, I'm really tired. I'm really, really tired. I'm gonna sit down. I just sat down and tried to get like an extra 45 minutes sleep because of how tired I was. And that's something that I originally thought, you know, you can't really affect, but you can definitely be better at sleeping. You can give yourself the environment to sleep better. You can have naps. You can do all these sorts of things, which is a professional behavior that is something I need to learn. But at this time, like it's not something I really understood. And this is why we do these things, right? Because I'm gonna make mistakes, and that's okay at this point, you know? Like, just so you know, I haven't qualified for the Paris Paralympics. I was not trying to, well, I was trying to, but I wasn't, it wasn't a major aim. It would have required me to medal at multiple tournaments. I didn't start in this cycle early enough for it to be a possibility, really. I think, please don't make the comment section, "Oh, I'm really sorry, you tried really hard." No, okay, it's not, for me, that's not a major issue, you know, I can easily come to terms with that. But the nice thing about doing these competitions and learning these professional behaviors is I will make mistakes and I will learn from those mistakes. You know, for example, now I'm never going to drink diuretics post-weigh-in. That's like a really easy thing to fix. And other things like that. I'm going to focus more on getting good night's sleep, especially the night before competition. I'm going to focus on when do I start the wake, when do I start the dehydration process. That kind of changes based on where my weight is at and where the competition is at, what the facilities at the competition will be. But you know, these are things that we learn whilst doing it. And here's something, we need to, not we, but people need to stop vilifying people for making mistakes. Like, I made mistakes here. Well, there were mistakes that went into this, but I learned from these, and that's okay. Like, you can't expect people like me who are beginners to international elite competition, you can't expect me to be making the correct decisions every time. Every single person who's an athlete who has to make weight or anything will have a poor weight making like story, or they'll have the time that they didn't sleep the night before a competition and things like this. And like, but I'm sure they learn from them. I'm hoping to learn from them. We'll see in the future. But I get frustrated when people will put such ownership on you, like, "Oh my God, you made this mistake, you made a mistake, rah, rah, rah." But it's a bit like saying, you know, if I go out into a judo match and I go and I, you know, even give my best performance, but I make a mistake because I'm not yet world champion, you know, I'm not at that level yet. But no one would like drill into me for hours. "Oh my God, I can't believe you didn't go see an argument. I can't," like that sort of thing. But you do often get that reaction when it's something off the mat, like a professional behavior. But that's just a thing to be learned. So I'm just trying to say, like, you know, I'm accepting, you know, I made these mistakes, particularly starting the weight cut too early, not hydrating very well, being like just really tired, these things. But like, I've learned from those. This is why I say this is like my worst performance yet, plus excuses. That's true. I'm kind of being hyperbolic there, but I am trying to say it's not excuses if you learn from them, because if you say you can't give any excuses, well then you'll never know what to learn from. You'll never be able to say this is what happened and this is how I'm going to improve. So I don't really believe in the idea of no excuses. I believe a lot more in like, find the reasons for the thing, the issue, figure out how to solve them in the future and how to learn from them. That's the way that I look at the world. Some people don't, some people disagree with me, that's fine, but everyone has their own, you know, sports psychology, mentality when they look at these sorts of things. That's completely fine. Yeah, other than that, I did not make Paris Paralympics. That's fine. I cannot wait until after the Paris Paralympics, because then I will stop having to tell people that I didn't make the games and have to explain this to people every time. LA, we're going for it. That's the goal. Oh, and this is a complete side note as well to my opponent in this fight. Like, he had obviously gone away and thought, how did I beat him last time? And he was not letting me do the drop CO. He just was not letting it happen. There were, you know, I was really focusing on hitting that because I was tired, because I was struggling so much. It was really all I had in me, but he had really gone, I am just gonna back away from him, back away from him, back away from him, run away from the Seoinage, which is fair, you know, well done him. That's where we get to at this level of sport, is people will revise for your fights. They will look at your previous fights and go, oh, how did he beat us? How did he react to this? How did he react to this? What's our game plan? So yeah, complete well done to him. He deserved to win the fight. I will come back stronger in the future. And also, I will just say, like, the reason this video has taken quite a while for me to put out, like I say, it's been 2 or 3 months, is because it's hard for me to put out a video like this, where I say, I did quite badly, you know, and it was my fault, and, you know, I didn't do as well as I could have, and that's hard, but I have now forced myself to make this video because I believe it really strongly that it's important for me to put every moment of my journey here. That's why I'm kind of trying to demonstrate my blind judo journey, of how I, you know, we can all love the highs of winning gold medals at local comps and stuff like this, but at this level, you know, my coach put it quite well, where he said the top guys, when they have a bad day, they maybe get 5th. Well, for you, when you have a bad day, you lose your first fight, you know? Which is so true, and it's important for me to put out there for you guys to see, so that you get to experience, you know, what it's like for me to lose as well as for me to win. Yeah, and I try not to cut anything out that isn't is me failing or whatever. I try not to be disingenuous like that. I think I've uploaded every single fight I've had since I started this YouTube channel. I missed one because I didn't get it filmed by accident, but like, you know, whatever, I won that, so. But yeah, I think it's so important that you guys see all of this. If you want to follow me on that blind judo journey into international visually impaired judo, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Soramade.